On. Good to go. All right, go ahead.
Good. Hello, I'm Manuel Brown, Vice Chair of the Human Service Commission, and we'll call the meeting to order. It is 7:09, and on March,
April.
I'm sorry, April 16th. Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
So, regular, any public comments?
Yes, we actually did have a written public comment. I have printed it here for folks here. You can see it online in the agenda packet. But before I start the open public comment, I just want to say we did start the meeting at 6:35 with a site visit, and now we've come back on the hybrid option, and we are starting with our agenda item number 2 with regular agenda items, and then I'm going to jump us into our public comment. So nobody's in person here, but we did have a written one from one of our newly funded executive directors at Pride Across the Bridge. He sent an email asking if we could share with our commission, so I'm just going to read it out loud. He says, or they say, hello, just a piece of positive I wanted to share attached. Thank you for this opportunity. This is why we do what we do. This was just too sweet not to share. Thank you for making this possible. Also, the big book is officially translated in Spanish as of the beginning of this week. Thrilled to share this resource further in our community. This is one of our programs that we fund for Pride Across the Bridge. The note here that's included says, this is from a donation they received from an individual saying, thank you, Axton. I am a transgender youth in the Valley. I recently received one of your big book of all things queer. I love the book very much, and it has been a great use to me and my family. So I wanted to thank you for all of your hard work and give you a donation to at least cover the cost of shipping for the book. This community is so nice. But LGBTQIA plus people still have challenges. It is so nice to know that there are people out there for us and them. And it's cross out the individual's name, but
where is this organization located?
So they, I think they have a site in Redmond, but they also use Capitol Hill, one of their senior centers, I believe. And so, but they're very small. They like the executive director, I don't even think is in technically a paid position. So it's a very grassroots organization. Okay, thank you. That's all for our public comment.
Thank you. Since no more comments, we'll go to approval of last minutes. March 19th, I believe it was. Everyone had a chance to take a look at that.
I propose that we approve the minutes from the March meeting.
I second.
I second.
Approved and second. And
then do we have a unanimous consent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's time made.
Yes, we do.
that's it. There we go. I am it.
Right.
All right. So let's move on to the input on the 2025 Issaquah Cultural Fest Welcoming Week, and that will be to Ms. Hamill.
Yes. And I just want to welcome Jaime. Thank you so much for joining us online.
Hey, thank you so much for the accommodation. Thank you for the support, and thank you, Manny, for jumping in. So I deeply appreciate it.
Yes.
It looks like both Huma and Lucretia were on earlier.
Oh,
Yeah. They must have thought. Anyways.
thank you. I'll reach out to them. Okay. Let me share my screen here. All right, so agenda item for this evening is I am seeking community members, so our commissioner input for our 2025 Issaquah Culture Fest, which is a part of our Welcome Week event. This presentation, I'll provide a little bit of background so we understand and orientate ourselves of what is Welcoming Week. I also want to talk a little bit of what we have done in the past. And then I have some specific questions that I want some input on. These are the questions I'll ask at the end just to help you be prepared as we go through the presentation. I'm hoping to seek input on if you've attended to these events in previous years, what feedback do you have to help improve the event? And if you have not attended, what would you like to see at this event? Other specific questions for 2025 is if there's any culture groups that you'd like to see featured, and interaction. I think I'll go in more details of what we're asking there, but what type of interaction from our performances would be ideal in this kind of an event? So a little background on Welcoming Week. So first off, just asking commissioners here and online, does anybody know what Welcoming Week is? Has anybody heard of it outside of Issaquah event?
Outside of Issaquah?
Yeah, outside of Issaquah, or understand the background. It's okay if you haven't.
What do you mean outside of Issaquah? I mean, I've attended it many years, but what do you mean by outside of Issaquah?
Great segue into some background. So it's actually, I don't know, maybe you didn't know this, but it's a global event. So it is an event that is celebrated worldwide.
I did not know.
You mean
Yes.
Welcoming Week?
Welcoming Week, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Welcoming Week started in 2012, and it starts across all over the world. So kind of in this transparent map I included in here. These are all locations all over the world. So this is the U.S., Australia has a bunch. Over in Europe, you'll see that there are celebrations. And it was supposed to be where it's a week long, so everybody celebrates it in that week. And really the campaign of this Welcoming Week is for really communities to celebrate and uplift their diversity and values of welcoming and inclusion for all, including immigrants. So this is intended for all. However, there is a focus on immigrants. So non-native individuals who are new to the area, whether that's here in Issaquah, anywhere in the US that's celebrating, in Australia, all over the world. So this is again a global event where it provides individuals and organizations the opportunity to showcase their values through events and initiatives that foster connections and collaboration between immigrants and non-immigrants, as well as belonging for all. So I love that statement because I think this one is helpful to help us understand the event that we are trying to portray is in partnership with what is happening globally for Welcoming Week, that is intended to foster an environment that brings in non-immigrants and immigrants. So that's our end goal. That the event is intended to be a celebration. It's intended to be people who are from the native area and who are not from the area, and bring them together so they can commune and celebrate the new diversity coming into the community. So Issaquah started Welcoming Week event. It first started with a joint Eastside Mayors proclamation with the different Eastside mayors that proclaimed Welcoming Week will be celebrated in this region, and that started in 2017 and continues to move forward every year. And in 2019 is when we really started as a city doing events for it to try to celebrate Welcoming Week. And so in 2019 is we first started this program as Issaquah Welcomes You event. And it was I wasn't around here, but it was a smaller event that was in person. And then in 2020, it was intended to move forward. However, we had COVID. And so we couldn't do anything in person that year. So we moved it into an online panel. And this was hosted by our Issaquah History Museum. And it was featuring different Issaquah residents and did interviews. We had a very famous individual on that panel. We were very excited about this individual, Manny Brown. 5 years ago was on our panel for that event.
I attended that.
You attended that. Oh, that's amazing. And your wife, you said? And then also we all know Alicia Spinner from the Circle. That was before the Circle even started, but she was also on that panel.
Okay.
So that was a big kind of an adjustment with COVID of moving it online and having an educational type of event. In 2021, this was kind of a sad year because we were supposed to do it outside. We were during that time, if you remember in 2021, where it was 5 feet apart, right, 5 feet?
Something.
Something like that, where we had to be
6.
6 feet, thank you, we had to be apart, or outdoors. And so we had planned this event as an outdoor event, but it was raining that day, very hard, so we couldn't move it inside because of those restrictions, so we had to cancel it completely.
Oh, shoot.
Very sad. And then in 2022, we continued with the Issaquah Welcomes You event in person. It was outside with the stage. It then, I would say, kind of kept growing, kind of the snowball effect. For 2023, we had an event, and then in 2024 is when we transitioned some of our marketing for culture into we're calling it, we felt like Issaquah Welcomes You just didn't quite embody like that this was an event. It just seemed like you can say Issaquah welcomes you anytime. And so it transitioned into a new marketing intention with it's calling Culture Fest, Issaquah welcomes you. So it's intended to show that we're a fest to celebrate cultures and to bring and welcome people in Issaquah. So last year's event, I'll focus on that a little bit because that's what I'm hoping we can grow off of. So here's some of our, this is our flyer and A-frame boards that we had. We highlighted it as a free family-friendly event to celebrate cultural diversity in our community in Issaquah. We had music, we had different world dances, we had interactive arts. We had henna art, which is always popular. And then the big thing we also had in the middle is our resource booth. So a lot of our nonprofits, as this is a human services event, but we also invited different groups of, if I was new to Issaquah and wanted to find ways to connect with my community, what would I want to know about? So we had things like the zoo or the salmon hatchery, different boards and commissions were there. So we're just going to keep building off of that. And it was really intended to invite our neighbors, family, and friends to join us. So you can see some of the shift. It went from this educational event to let's celebrate, let's honor, let's bring the community together. I just love, we got some really cool pictures from the event from last year. So just including that you could see over here on our lawn, our different resource booths and people enjoying the stage where we had different cultures represented, really had that fun dragon dance in the beginning. That was wonderful as well. And then this is also our banner. So it's again, as a part of our way of promoting the event. So for 2025, one thing that we want to do is focus on, as we're starting, this is a September event, and we are starting to plan here in April because it takes that long to get things to figure it out for this capacity or this level of an event. And so what we really want to do this year is go to our community members and get some feedback of what would you like to see, right? We're here, city staff, we're working with our different partners from different cultural backgrounds to help guide us, but we also feel like we want more community input and feedback to help guide this year's event. So for this year, we have it's the 12th through the 21st. Due to restrictions on accessing the community center, we have to do it on the 5th. So you'll notice it's not on the week of Welcoming Week. But that's okay because other cities are celebrating it that week. So they'll celebrate it that week. We can invite people from our community earlier on. Each year there's a different theme. So this year's theme, it's the spirit of generosity. And that is designated by the Welcoming Week website, Global People. We do not choose that, Issaquah. That is their theme that we follow. And then what we have so far is we have the date, the time, the location, and we have general ideas of what we have done in the past for festivities that we will get some feedback from our community to help guide us. So performances on stage, our resource fair, we had different food trucks and food options, and then just different interactive activities. So for example, we have had in the past, we had a bouncy house. We had face paint, we had a balloon artist, we had henna, we had 2 different specific cultural type of art that the community was invited to do. We had the zoo, had a few little animals. We had different displays with like cultural dresses and attire. And so I also added here who currently is a part of our planning. So we partner with For Culture. They're a huge funder for us for this program. And then as part of our planners, we have DIA, Downtown Issaquah Association staff. We have Friends of the Issaquah Library, Issaquah Highlands Council, and then our King County Library System. So we have a large, and then internal staff as well. So we have a large crew of us planning this event. So,
What kind of input have you received from people that attended in the past?
great question. I just need a little bit of water here. So we have received input on dates. So we have people say they don't want it on Friday. We have people say they do want it on Friday. So that one's always a hard one. We've had different culture groups come up to us. Every year we have somebody come up to us asking if they can just like, hey, we want to perform. We want to be a part of this. And so we want to this year, most years we try, but it can be challenging. We want to focus on local talent. So ideally, if any groups from Issaquah, as you can imagine, that can be challenging and limiting. So we have expanded some of our horizon, but we're going to kind of try to focus on that again this year if we can. Other feedback is, I would have to go look back on my notes. But there was a few complaints about like the noise, the sound system. One year it was too quiet, last year it was too loud. All good, like good to know, like we're trying our best, and anything we can do to improve it, we're happy about. A lot of people didn't know about it. I think is what we found out about. So, right, it's word of mouth is the most powerful advertisement. So it's just, we hope this to be a snowball type of event where just, we hope if any of you attended or know Concerts on the Green, those are a huge, well-attended, well-known. And that took, they're within 20 years of doing that. And so I think that's the hope with this, is that it could be that big eventually, but that will take time. Yeah, so we've received some of those, and then some years there were like missing cultural. So one year we didn't have, like, we usually have had a mariachi band or something that expresses Latino population, and one year we didn't because the event was really close to Hispanic Heritage Month, and so
they just couldn't. They're not enough bandwidth. Okay.
Yeah, and so so I think this year we're really trying to find local and groups that really reflect Issaquah.
Okay.
And so one group that hasn't been portrayed on stage, but that I think we're hoping to find performances is Russian and Ukrainian. That's a really growing community here. Which one? Russian and Ukrainian.
And then the speaker that came last month from the Circle, I remember. Alicia. Yeah, I was so surprised when she mentioned is it the Turkish community?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the Arabic, Turkish, I think you're right.
Yeah, you're just talking about the languages.
The languages. I was like, I had no, that was just that took me by surprise.
Yeah, definitely.
So are you asking for our feedback now?
Yes, so we are now in discussion mode. So I'd love to hear some of your thoughts.
I thought that, was it last year when we had that female MC?
Oh, yes,
I thought it was really good to have a real strong MC, and I couldn't remember if that was one of the first years that happened.
Yep.
And it was last year, right?
It was last year, and we had hired her where she that's what she did. She was a professional MC, and
I thought that was nice, and I thought she did a good job. And in terms of which culture groups Well, I think you kind of answered the question. I mean, any and all in,
That can be, I mean, it's only a 2-hour window. That's the thing I was just looking at. So
right.
I'm sure that stage management gets to be
Yeah,
kind of a thing in terms of how many groups you can accommodate.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, because 2 hours isn't very long.
No, it's not. And we've had previous years 3 hours, but we felt like that was too
Oh,
long.
interesting.
Because people don't normally stay that long. So, yeah.
And when you say interactive activities, is that like an art project that kids can help with type
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, when you said performances, how interactive would you like the performances? I thought you meant you don't mean the people that are on stage or dancing around.
Okay, sorry. So there are two interactive kind of questions we have. The first one is how interactive would you like the performance to be? So on stage, we have had different, like, for example, we've had like belly dancers, and they would invite people to the stage and teach them, right? And
Okay.
or try to get the kids up and do one of their specific type of like dancing and stuff. So I think we've always felt like, okay, we're trying to gauge, like, is this the type of event that we go out have our performers go out in the audience and try to get them involved, or is this like more of an environment where people just want to sit back and enjoy?
I would just say it's up to the cultural group that's doing it, what they want to do.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
I would agree. If it's a belly dancing group that's I
Yeah,
guess I wouldn't want to expect
Yeah.
performances to provide an interactive opportunity, but if it's a group that is,
that's their shtick.
yeah. That's great. Okay.
I mean, like if it was a group that a stair group, and that's what they do is teach dance.
Yeah,
You know, then yeah, interactive would be
yeah,
appropriate.
yeah. Very good point.
But most of the people that come probably are not going to be getting up and dancing with the performers.
Yeah,
But
right, exactly.
I do think having that dragon run around in the middle is helpful.
Yeah. That was how we started it off. Was
Yeah.
anybody there for that kickoff?
Uh-huh.
Did you feel like that was like a kind of a
Yeah.
good start?
Or are you taking notes on your phone?
I am. I didn't have a pen and I don't have my computer, so sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say real quick, Commissioner, Lucreza has her hand up.
Thank you, honey.
No worries. I forget sometimes too, so I figured.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Commissioner Lucrezia. Good to see you this evening.
Thank you. Yeah, so I guess I want to jump in to say that sometimes groups don't know what is allowed or not allowed, and so I would say that I would actually give them parameters like you just explained, Hannah, like you're not expected to provide instruction, but if that is something that you're willing to do and comfortable doing, it would be nice to have audience participation as opposed to just assuming that they would know to offer that or to not offer it.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. So like if we do want that level of interaction, like personally, I love it when that happens, especially because when I have attended these events, it's the children who get involved, right? Because they're less
Yeah.
inhibited. They have less, they're not trained yet to be embarrassed about moving their bodies or whatever. And I just think that it's good to have that be part of the shows. I've never felt like that the instruction that they provide is inappropriate or unwelcome. Like I think it's actually like a really, at least from my perspective, it has always been a very positive interaction.
Perfect.
And so I guess I would just present it as if you would like to have audience participation, we fully support that. And if that's not your shtick or that's not what you normally do, then we're okay with that as well.
Great.
Good point. Like I think they had some sword work there. I don't know if I'd give a kid a sword.
Yeah, or any fire dancing or anything like that, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Hannah, I want to circle back to something else you said about the way people find out about this is primarily through word of mouth. That surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, we put things on the Insider, we put things on social media. One thing we would, maybe actually this is a question to you all here this evening, is we thought about creating like little, like note card flyers and kind of going like door to door or having neighborhood representatives like pass it on to their neighbors or put it in mailboxes or doorstops. I mean, do you think that that is for this community, a productive and good use of time and resources to help this spread this word of mouth, or do you feel like that's just more?
What about like posting like at your local Starbucks on their bulletin board?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I would probably encourage that more than people get too many flyers in their mailboxes.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, we'll go to Chris's.
Yeah, I run a community page called Squawk Mountain Families because I live on Squawk Mountain, and I always advertise city stuff on there, and people are always super grateful to learn. I don't know why most people don't know to go to the city page, although it's so robust that I know that I get lost in that page sometimes, so I can imagine other people do as well. So I can definitely do that. And then the other thought is, where does everyone go? I feel like most people go to the grocery store. So maybe asking like Safeway and Fred Meyer's if we could put something at the registers. But
Great
I don't know
idea.
if that's allowed because I mean Starbucks, like I can tell you that the last time I was at a Starbucks was 15 years ago. I don't even know. Like that's not some place that I frequent at all. Like, and it was probably because I was at an airport and that was the only coffee that was available. Like I'm more about shopping local. Does that make
Issaquah
so
coffee. Yeah.
yeah, where everybody goes would probably be like a grocery store or like Costco or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is great. Okay, good options, people. Thank y'all. Good ideas. Preston, you got something for me?
Okay, well, this is like random, but I've been to this event both as a volunteer and as a participant in 2022 and 2023. And I think one thing that would be able to increase both participation as well as representation is including different high school organizations and clubs. I know in Skyline, we have a Black Student Union, and I think we have equivalents for Latino students, and we have our Indian Culture Club. And I think adding, and I assume there's definitely
That's a
ones for
great idea.
Issaquah High
That's a
School
great
and
idea.
Liberty. So I think it would be a great idea to include them because not only does this work as like management, but you can also introduce them as like having a stand. I know as a high school student myself, we all love our service hours and volunteer hours and the ability to go here and put up a stand to do some sort of activity, whatever they want to do or raise advocacy would increase participation from students as well as work as marketing so that they can spread it to members and
I love that.
such around the school.
Great suggestion.
Would that also include performers? Like, are you saying that there are also groups that could perform? Or
I'm not specifically a part of any of these clubs, but I do know there's definitely like, at least with, I do know there's specific like student groups. I think we've had student groups that have participated. I don't know if we've had any that have participated, but I do know that there are definitely around Issaquah like student dancing or performing groups that would definitely probably be willing to participate in this if they were given notice about it.
Yeah, that would be part of my ask, definitely. Great idea. Yeah, I would love to get some youth involvement, so it's a really good idea. Thank you.
What about, are the cultural groups affiliated with, local churches at all? Or not so much?
At least for the welcoming week events that we've had, no.
No, okay.
Mhm.
I'm guessing the circle will be highly involved, right?
They have been involved in planning this event in previous years. The last couple years, they have had to step out due to their capacity, and they do many other events like AAPI and Hispanic Heritage Month. So they will most likely have a resource there, but because they're doing Hispanic Heritage Month that fall in the following weeks after that, they're usually focused on that. So they're actually not as involved as they have been previously.
Did I hear right, Hannah, that they will be in attendance though with a booth? Did I understand
They
that
will be
right?
invited. I haven't confirmed, but yes, all of our nonprofits are invited to be part of the resource fair. And normally they have participated in that, which has been great. So at minimum, I'm hoping for that, but yeah. They would also be a great resource, especially I know they have different cultural representation there in different circles, so they would be a great opportunity to talk to them about potential local performers that they know about. So we definitely have that relationship that where we can ask them if they have those resources.
Right, particularly since, I mean, as Alicia, as Alicia shared with us, like you said, they have all these different cultures that they work with. So, yeah, it's not just Hispanic that they would be able to
Yes,
recommend.
exactly.
Yeah. This might be a silly thing, but in the past, I don't remember that many food trucks.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So, we've had 2 to 3 food trucks and then like one to 2 dessert type of food trucks or pop-ups. And that, I guess, what we found is that when we are booking, we're not paying these food trucks to come. And so we're trying to find the balance of we want the right number to give people options, but we don't want to take away business from the food truck that is here for a 2-hour event, right?
It has to be a successful event for them.
Then, yeah, exactly. And so,
I see.
yeah, and then I will say the one year we had like 3 food trucks, maybe it was 2. One of them broke down.
Oh,
We have all the food trucks lined out right here on this street, and they broke down in that parking lot over there. So they were able to get some business, but yeah. And then we usually have the ice cream trike, which is always a big success. And we also do, we get a lot of, we pay for some tickets to get, provide free ice cream to all of our performers. So that's a nice kind of benefit, and they're great partners. Not necessarily cultural option, but
sure.
a local option. And then usually have like a bakery, different, so, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, any thoughts on number of food trucks or?
It's a tough one because the whole food truck thing has to be based on the number of people that you think are going to attend. And the number of people that attend on a Friday in September is weather dependent to some degree. I'd be more curious just seeing an interesting mix of, if you're only gonna have 2 or 3 food trucks, like maybe not a burger truck, but maybe something that is a little bit more unusual. And I don't know how many food trucks are locally owned.
Yeah, not many. We
5 Hooks, I think, is
yeah.
up in Sammamish. I know that one or something like that.
Yeah.
There seems to be one over by the chamber that's, I think,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, the taco one, there's 2
Yeah.
over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a few options. Okay, well, this is helpful feedback to start off with. We are also actually taking this to the Arts Commission. There are also big funders for this event. And so we're going to get some feedback from them. And one item we're going to specifically ask them is an idea for an art commission that is an interactive, community-driven mural of some sort.
Oh, wow.
And so I had the idea, and this is just kind of maybe the start of something that I hope that the art commission can help kind of either commission or elaborate for us, is like to kind of show the diversity and show kind of our inclusiveness, is do like where we do handprints, right? You do your handprint and you draw it that represents you and where you're from, and we create some sort of big hand mural with it that shows Issaquah and what we're built up as.
So an active event during that
Can build an art piece.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't that be so neat? So that's something like that we'd love to see.
Yeah.
So at Salmon on, I think it was Salmon on Sunset, might have been Salmon Days,
Mhm.
at the hatchery last year. They had this garage door that's on the backside of one of the buildings. And they got all this paint and they let kids paint fish on the door. And it was a colossal mess, but it turned out really cool. You know, all these different fish all over and it was done the day of, and it was completely, you know, if you're a kid and you want to participate in this, come on up.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of the same idea of
Yeah,
all are welcome. Let's create something that
yeah,
represents.
super fun.
Yeah.
There's an event at the on Hatchery this Saturday.
Earth Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be volunteering?
I will. I'm gonna be helping with the scavenger hunt.
Any other items, commissioners, on feedback on welcoming week? More information to come as this is building and as we get more planning going.
Well, I think in the past, as Commissioner Jaime, I think in the past we had some of the nonprofit folks kind of tabling a little bit. I think that was kind of good at Connect, the one that I attended, where they had different types of music, food, and it was a good way to kind of connect folks around what services do we have, resources do we have. I think people were tabling. I think that's always, good to see. When I saw at the lawn and people doing that, I thought it was beneficial for folks to know, where some of the services are offered by Issaquah or throughout our
Mhm.
community. So I thought it was a really good exchange
Good.
happening.
Good. Appreciate that feedback.
I do like the idea of a, communal art project, and I'd love to see the garage itself get involved in that with me.
Oh, I love that.
You'd
Yeah.
like to see what?
The garage,
Be in charge or?
be involved at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Love
Like
that.
maybe because since this event takes place like directly across the street from them, maybe having like an open house so that people could
Mhm.
see what it's about. And I don't know, like I know that I wish I could have attended tonight in person. I've always been curious, but I've always been also respectful that that's like a teen space.
Right.
So I've
Mhm.
tried not. That's exactly why I have not gone there. But if they had like an open house, I think it would be interesting for
Yeah.
adults and other people to like be familiar with the work that they do there.
Yeah.
Kaylee did say as we were leaving that we're welcome to drop by. She said 2:30 would be 3:30. 3:30?
3:30.
Yeah, but she said we could drop by. It's kind of sounded like we were welcome to do that as commissioners.
Yeah.
Because there were no kids there today, no students there.
Yeah, there was a spring break.
Right.
So, if we wanted to come and just see what it's like during a normal day.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know where I got the idea that it was really.
Oh, no, you're
14.
right. You're not supposed to. I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, in fact,
Okay,
the drop-in would basically be in and out, it's
Yeah.
just see what they do and then get
Right.
out of the way.
Yeah, no, Kaylee, I mean, I've known Kaylee for a long time and no, you're not supposed to go there as an adult unless you're invited. Yeah.
I can be one of those pets that they put like the cameras on. I can bring a GoPro in.
We got an insider.
Oh,
over there.
Good.
Here's another idea, and we may be going too far into the weeds here, but wouldn't it? I would welcome, like, if I was new to the neighborhood, I would welcome tours of the community center.
Oh,
That's
Right?
a great
Because,
idea.
like, if
that's
you're
a
new
great
and you're going-
idea.
Yeah.
right? Like, because I mean, I've lived here for 6 years, and I'm still confused as to how to use that community center.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great
Like,
idea.
Great idea.
I don't
That's a
know
really
if,
good idea.
I'm alone in that or whatever, but I just know that I don't know that I fully understand how to even use it.
That's a great suggestion.
And
Yes.
in the past, Hannah, has the Issaquah history people, have they been at the event?
They did host that virtual event and they have, but they had some staffing changes. So since then, we have not had them, but I will certainly invite them this year as well.
Yeah, and what about the Issaquah Trails Club?
They have been, I think they have come actually the last couple of times and been invited.
Okay. But they don't attend, or they do?
Yeah,
They do it.
I
we
think I
did.
remember seeing
Yes,
them with a booth.
yes.
Yeah.
Issaquah Trails and then museum. You
Yeah.
can enjoy the back.
Oh, I know what I wanted to mention in terms of advertising. You know, with that big old beautiful banner, don't you put it up on Front Street?
So we have one Front Street, I think, over by that side. Yep. The front side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have another one that goes right on our community center railing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's on Front Street, when they have banners, there's two spots.
Yeah.
One on south of town, kind of, and then one by Dairygold.
Yeah. And we're by the last one. Yeah, we were by Dairygold.
So that's where the one will go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also I'd like to see something like combine it with, bring a can of food.
Oh,
You know,
oh, that's a good idea.
Cause we're right here.
And
by
it's
the
right.
food.
Yeah.
I would have to talk to them about like organizing that and what
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean,
look
just
like. That's a
even
great idea.
putting it over by the walkway to the troll, you know.
And then there could be volunteers that are organized that carry it back to the food bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
That's a great idea.
Well, this probably won't be the last time I come to you all with some suggestions or some ideas. So if you don't mind, I will, as this kind of keeps, that keeps cooking and building. We meet with other commissions and we keep working with our planning team. I'll probably bring this for an update and then see if you all can provide some helpful feedback as we kind of sharpen up this event. Thank you all. Appreciate your time there.
Thank you, Hannah. Our next thing on the agenda is chair and commission report. That would be Jaime. And anything else? Anyone else? You have anything?
I would say, let's see here. I'm looking at the agenda here. I would say in the last few weeks, I want to thank Hannah and Commissioner Manor. We've been kind of working and around the interviews and the panel and trying to be very deliberate and thoughtful around who would be the next for our commissioners. There's probably more information to come forward around that. Announcements. Are we doing those announcements today, Hannah, or is that something we're still kind of?
No announcements officially on my
Okay.
end today. We are, the recommendations went to our mayor and then
Yep,
to our
there you
city council. It might have just went to city council or it's
Okay.
going to shortly, and then new terms will commence in May. So that'll be the start of our new commission.
That was my report, is just the fact that a lot of work went in behind that and very intentionality. And so I thank everybody that put their name in the hat. So there'll be more information to come, as Hannah kind of alluded to. That's all I got for on my end.
Thank you, Jaime.
Cool. Okay.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, okay, people should be aware of the Earth Day celebration that's at the hatchery on Saturday. I've been to that before. It's a lot of fun. And then Issaquah Sustainability Fair, which is the following Saturday on April 26th.
The sustainability fair, is that at Pickering Barn?
Pickering Barn, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Trish. And youth report.
Just a few things, since we're kind of wrapping up at the school year, starting to come to an end. Two main events that we're doing. We only have one more event before we're all, as a board or as the whole youth board, are going to go all hands on deck for the Issaquah Kids Triathlon, which is probably definitely our biggest event. We are planning to have a do some sort of flyer, some sort of stand at the sustainability fair, and we're gonna try to have as many of our board members help volunteer as well. And then obviously the Izzy Kids Triathlon, that's going to be Sunday, June 1st from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is our biggest event of the year. We invite all kids, I believe it's like 10 to 14, 8 to 14, around that age, to do this mini triathlon. We have a run, we have a our swimming section is at the swimming pool right over here. And then we have our running section and our biking section are just all around kind of the community center and the trails near it. So it goes kind of by, it goes through, if you know that trail right to the right of the community center, that kind of leads you a little farther than Issaquah High School, then you kind of go there and then you go back, and then there's kind of like that hill that brings you right back to the community center. And that's the whole bike trail. And then the run trail is just like 3 times around the community center or so. And yeah, this is a very high density group. We can usually have upwards of like 100 to 150 kids participating in this
Wow.
event. And yeah, so we're just all going to try to do it. Last year we were unable to because we had the help of the Issaquah Parks Committee, and they were planning the 4th of July celebration. But this year we're definitely taking a bigger hand and trying to get everyone on the board connected, so that we don't need to rely as much on the parks commissioners and the parks like staff members, so that we can all work as volunteers, so that we still have a fun and interesting event that runs nice and smoothly for everybody. So yeah, I think that's it for me today.
Thank you, Brian.
Can you
And
clarify
also
the age group,
Oh, sorry, go
please?
ahead.
What is the age group for the event?
I believe it's 8 to 14, because it's 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14 are our age divisions. There isn't like a winning prize. Everyone, it just finishes, and we usually give them a t-shirt at the end, but they do have different like distances they had to run based on age, or distances to do.
And I will note, Preston was featured in one of our emails for our parks team. So here's our youth advisory board here, great representation. And we have Preston, if you can't find him, I'll point him out right here.
Okay, where is he?
Right
Right there.
Right in the front.
He's right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So he was featured in our advertisement for folks to apply. So I was so excited to see him there. Just wanted to give you a shout out and say thank you for all the work you've done here on our commission. And it's been a pleasure to have you in your report. So thank you.
And won't it be great when you can get your own, you can drive yourself to places, right?
Oh my gosh.
I can drive myself here.
Oh, so you're hoping to take, not to have too much of a segue, but you're hoping to do your driving lesson in a week or two?
Yes.
Okay. Good luck.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, that was our youth report, staff report.
Yeah, I'll wrap us up fairly quickly. A couple items I want to throw out here. I also shared the screen just so sometimes the visual is helpful. Big one is AAPI Heritage Month. The circle is hosting this again at our Issaquah Community Center. Very excited for that. So it's going to be on May 10th. If it's helpful to Mother's Day weekend, that Saturday, from 5 to 7. There's going to be different performances, different activities and arts and crafts that they typically have had in the past. Please consider coming, inviting your neighbors, bringing your family and friends. Great opportunity to just be a part of our community and learn more about our different AAPI heritage. The other thing I want to note here is I mentioned to you all, this is the information I currently have. I'm still working on it. But April 22nd, so that's next Tuesday at 6:30, the City of Kirkland has invited us, the City of Kirkland Human Services Commission, rather, has invited all commissions to participate and join in virtually or in person, a panel. So Debbie Lacey, she's from Eastside for All. She's going to facilitate a panel that will focus on immigrant, refugee, and undocumented populations and the impact of current policy changes. So I feel like it's a very hot topic, very relevant to our community. At the time of this agenda, I didn't have the information of who's on the panel, and I don't have the Zoom link yet. And so I think it'll be actually a Teams invite. So as soon as I do, I will have that. I'm hoping, she said, by the 17th, so that's tomorrow. So before I go on vacation, I'll try to send that to you. If I don't get it, I will have our human services manager send that out to everybody. So more information to come. I don't, if you do attend, you are attending as a public member. So I don't think they will probably help facilitate if you can
So not as a member of the City of Issaquah Human Services Commission.
Yes, and so you will be attending, you can say that you're from Human Services Commission from the City of Issaquah, and they will help facilitate, it's like what the Q&A will look like and stuff, but,
So it is okay to identify yourself as a,
sorry for
okay,
the confusion, yes,
Okay.
please identify it as yourself as representation.
okay.
Apologies for that. Okay, Best Starts for Kids. Anybody familiar with Best Start for Kids?
Yes.
Yes, bet you are. So we had them visit Issaquah, some staff members there. So I listed here, I won't go into much detail. I'm only because I'll revisit this in our next staff report. All I'm saying is they would like to come to the commission and just speak about Best Start for Kids, talk about their programs. Our agenda items for the next few months is very packed. So we're looking at maybe the fall. So just want to put that on your radar that I'll let you know when they are on our agenda. What we will want to do is kind of prepare some questions for them. And we'll go in more detail about that. Just want to put that on your radar. Just an updated. And then, again, this is just, I'm trying to keep track of our schedules for our site, just so we just have documentation on that. So I am including past meetings and then future meetings. So we have the circle, we have the garage, we have a joint meeting coming up. We're doing the Issaquah Food and Clothing Bank. This is an early start, so please arrive early. That'll be fun for new commissioners to figure out to come early. But we'll talk to everybody about that. I'll send out lots of great reminders. So a little wonky there. We're also having a few virtual guests. Actually, they could be in person. We'll have 2 additional presentations. So very busy night.
So our virtual guests are starting at 7. Are we gonna?
Virtual guests, actually, we have one more. We're squeezing in 4 here. So we'll have, the first one will start at 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah, sorry, I just scheduled another one here. So we're gonna have 4 visits. 1 in person before the meeting starts, and then 3 during the meeting.
Great.
So that'll be a nice, fun one. June 18th, we got 3, we have Bridge Disability Ministries, we have Issaquah Community Services, and then we have an internal individual coming to start. It's the Light Rail Study Introduction. So I don't know if you remember or participated at the Senior Center. We had a joint equity training with this individual in regards to the light rail. So there's more information on that. They're taking this introduction. It's just going to be a short introduction for us, more of a discussion, more informational than a discussion. And this staff member is also going to go to the equity board with this introduction. And then you can see here in November, we're going to be doing a joint one. So you all said you are interested in doing joint meetings. And so we'll have that in November. September and October will fill up quickly. And so I'm still working on getting more visits from our nonprofits for those. August, we will cancel it. And then in February, that's a typo. February 2026, we'll have another joint meeting. We just got those scheduled, so I'm documenting so I don't forget, and you all are aware of that. Great. Any questions?
And then the individual
Yes.
site visits more, well, I mean, I think we're gonna go through you, right?
Yes.
We're not gonna just.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. For the individual site visits, we have been wrapping up contracts with our nonprofit, so I didn't really want to schedule this until those were completed. And so starting in May, you'll see some communication go out. You'll be CC'd on those, and I will do the warm handoff and introductions, and then you can keep me on the CCs if you want, but then I will pass that on to you to start scheduling.
Yeah.
And if you need any assistance with that, I'm always happy to do that.
And then I just have this is a random question. I know Jamie Longoria is coming to talk in May. Does I know her organization is new. Do they have a web presence?
They do not.
Okay,
you are more than welcome to ask her about that, but they're a grassroots organization and yes, they do not have an online presence.
are they a 501c3?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
Yes, they have to be funded.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions? Thank you all for a wonderful night.
Thank you, hon. Is there anyone has any other business? If not, I would like to adjourn, and it is 8:04.
Thank you, Commissioner.